is to try and compress one's remarks, Sheriff. Honestly, if you give me a whole hour, I'd keep on talking. But you all know what happened yesterday. The House, I don't know whether to use the word invaded, but the House yesterday, the lawmakers were prevented from sitting at one point, and then they had to force their way in. There's video evidence towards that. In fact, it was a messy situation. Okay, so let's go with The Guardian. It's a pity the Punch is not here, but let's go because they too had a very extensive coverage. The highlights yesterday, the DSS storms complex amid alleged move to eject Speaker Miranda. Now note that. Keep that one in your left wrist. That the DSS, as far as the Guardian is concerned, stormed the complex amid alleged move to eject Speaker Miranda. Controversial letter shows House requested fortification from the secret police. The issue of that is that the DSS claims in in one of the reports that they were invited. Okay, we have to do this analysis carefully. The Vanguard reports that the DSS claimed they were invited. So let's quickly go there. It says that we were invited, DSS. On the claim of security agents that they were invited, the lawmakers said they were not invited to lock the chambers and halt plenary. In a letter by the acting clerk of the House, A. Otun, dated February 14, 2025, the Assembly management notified security agencies in Lagos about credible intelligence that indicated plans to forcibly reinstate impeached Speaker Mudashiru Obasa on February 18, 2025. The management highlighted that such an attempt presented a potential security threat to the Assembly and its members. Entitled Urgent, Enhanced Security Measures for alleged Search with the references, which was sent to the DSS director in Lagos and heads of other security agencies in the state, read, the impeached House Speaker of the State House of Assembly plans to resume office on February 18, 2025, as the Speaker poses a potential security threat to the Assembly and its members. So, the DSS claimed it got a letter from the clerk. Now, the DSS needs to explain how that turned into preventing the clerk herself, let us say for now, the legitimate clerk, from gaining access into the building. This is what I think would normally happen. You write a letter to the DSS, and this is where one area I want whoever would want to probe. You write a letter to the DSS inviting you. So a letter was into them. When the DSS gets there, Sheriff, they are supposed to report to the people who invited them. Who did the DSS report to? Who did they report to? Did the person they reported to, was it the one who said they should now seal the assembly to stop all members from getting in? That is one aspect we need to look into. Because they can't just get there and do as they wish. You are invited. And therefore, instructions would be, when you get there, report to so and so. Also, this new phenomenon of DSS being everywhere, mass. You remember the other day, I said I saw 2-3 people guarding and they were all masked. It is some kind of abuse that has. I've thought that the use of masks will be in special circumstances, not generally, because these days now it's so common for you to see DSS people being masked at any opportunity, and I don't think that's the way it had been. Somebody needs to explain to us, because once you are masked, we can't identify you if anything goes wrong. Can't even get your name plate. Now, why was it easy for the members of the House of Assembly to overpower the DSS in this instance? These are the many questions that you need to ask yourselves, because the the members of the House of Assembly themselves could not gain immediate access to the House, and that created a whole long crisis. The whole of yesterday, I was on the phone with sheriff, with this, with that, news filtering in. All said and done. Let me go to the other one. It says, controversial letter shows House requested for verification of saying that DSC member distances body from crisis. They can't do that. DAC member distances body. You can't. I heard yesterday that the leader of the GAC also was quoted to have said that he didn't want to have anything to do with it. That's what we heard. Whether it's true or not, we don't know. But this is another member distancing themselves from the crisis. Okay? All said and done, yesterday's crisis was extremely sad, both for Nigeria as a whole, Lagos State as a state, and Lagosians as indigents. Because and women, the poor woman was seriously traumatized. She broke down in tears. She broke down. They had to force her way in to where she wants to legitimately conduct her business. And the kind of coincidence that also led to the change of guard of the police yesterday also sent something down there. It was alleged that the commissioner of police was changed yesterday. I saw the release.
Mm-hmm. I saw it too.
Is it true that the head of the DSS, Lagos, was also changed yesterday?
I didn't see that.
I saw that, but I don't know if it is true, that kind of coincidence. Indeed, I think in the Punch also, it was also claimed that, some security detail of the governor were also changed yesterday.
Oh.
Now, all these things are clouded in some kind of mystery and generally goes around for or against, those who are for Obasa and those who are against. And I'm surprised. I wonder how Obasa himself feels after having been speaker for 10 years. And you find this thing happening in your name. This is because if care is not taken, it's going to lead to violence. In fact, there's a report here that says that there are indications that he might want to resume work today.
Today, yeah.
Which I advise against because you have already gone to court. You have already gone to court challenging your removal. So I don't know. And meanwhile, the assembly yesterday have adjourned indefinitely.
That's right.
So which house is it going to address today? So you have in all the papers, Telegraph, we didn't invite DSS to seal invade chamber, says Ogundipe. The chairman of the House Committee on Information Strategy and Security, Olukayode Stephen Ogundipe, accused the DSS of undue interference in legislative affairs. They said that our attention has been drawn to a publication by the DSS regarding the letter dated 14th, entitled Enhanced Security Measures for LSHA. Earlier today, lawmakers and staff of the Lagos State House of Assembly arrived at the Assembly complex to find the offices of the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker and the acting clerk of the House locked and access restricted by operatives of the DSS. That sounds a bit odd. If you were invited, why would you seal their offices? Okay. In an apparent effort to justify their actions, the DSS released to the public a letter written by the acting clerk of the House requesting security presence at the Assembly complex. We wish to state, this is the spokesperson of the Assembly, Honorable Ogundipe, we wish to state categorically that this is not the first time the House has sought security support from the DSS. And I believe that if you need extra, and then when you come, you report to the clerk and he tells you what the problem is and you both agree what you are going to do. However, it is important to emphasize that in all previous instances, DSS operatives have been stationed at the main gate of the Assembly complex, ensuring that unauthorized persons do not gain entry. For the avoidance of doubt, at no point did the letter requesting security assistance instruct the DSS to invade the legislative chamber, lock and restrict access to the Speaker's office, lock the office of the acting clerk, who was the one who invited
Until not that.
For whatever. And locked it. It's a mess, Sheriff. It's a big mess. And there is nothing to be gained by the public by this. We are going to be the losers in the end. But the person that might be the biggest loser in all this, if care is not taken, is the big boss. It's the big boss. And I make bold to tell him in all seriousness, the legacy you have built over 20-something years, do not lose it all in this incident. History has shown that the things that destroy people, institutions, countries, and whatever starts from a very small thing, not handled properly. Look at the Arab Spring. Look at the French Revolution started from the price of bread, increase in price of bread and see where. So I'd like to call on the president. You cannot claim not to know what is going on. I don't believe that. It is not possible. I mean, the president gets security reports every day. The DAC have tried to see you in Abuja, so you know what is going on. And you, the DSS are under you, the police are under you. If you give Obasa definite instructions, he can't flout your instructions. The truth is, majority want this man out. He's been there for 10 years. He himself, as a statesman, should sacrifice himself. That rather than, look, it should take borrow a leaf from people like Jonathan. Rather than have the whole state born just because you want to be speaker, you think that I sacrifice myself, I want the state to move on. It should go and read history. People like Al Gore in the United States, who thought they won elections but said it's all about America. For Obasa, it should be all about Lagos State. Whether indigenous or not, notwithstanding, because that is an issue that has crept into it. The speaker is a princess of Lagos. All kinds of rumors were flying around. Some rumors said maybe the brother who is the Oba had been threatened, and so on and so forth. All of us were walking our phones till very late last night, till about 11:30, because I'm a dog. About this, I'm a dog. I'm some kind of dog in the fight, because of course, citizens of the state are saying that this is one is our own child. And in politics, all these things matter.
They do.
All these things matter. I said, this is our own child. And therefore, that has crept in. The women, too, are saying that this is the first time I go to have a female speaker. We will not allow this. And the poor woman was even traumatized in all this. So that's where we are. That's all I can say for now, because there are so many, much more news items in my head regarding that. But, on air, you got to be careful. And the letter circulated yesterday, for example, that said the speaker had resigned. I almost fell for it. I started to move my phones again until we discovered that it was fake. She didn't resign. She conducted the session and adjusted and adjourned, wisely so, indefinitely.
We also heard that they've already drafted the speaker's resignation, giving her that she has to resign. And the other principal officers of the House, said that she will not do it. In fact, they hid that letter from her.
Well, another story is also said she actually did try to resign, but it was rejected by the House. It was rejected that he ain't going nowhere. And I will advise her not to resign, because there are so many factors that have been built in, and it's her responsibility to carry that leading role. She has to consider women. She has to fight for women. She has to fight for the indigenous, whether you like it or not. She has to fight for even her own constituency.
Right, indeed. I'd also like to know why the DSS and not the police. Did the police refuse to intervene? Is that why the commissioner was changed? Is that why allegedly the DSS team lead in Lagos was changed? Is that why some security details of the governor were also changed?
There is something going on that is not pleasant. Okay? And I nobody can convince me that the DSS would make these moves at this level without permission from the top. And it's impossible for anybody to convince me that the DSS boss at the very top would do this without calling the president. It's difficult to convince me otherwise. And so let's stop allegedly. Let's face the stark truth. The president has to step in. Whether he knew about it or not, he now has to step in. And my advice to him is that little blots of stains like this on a white shirt could make it impossible for you to wear that white shirt on the day of glory. Efalashi. So I'm advising the president, do not let people put you. The great Awolowo, great as he was, revered as he was, and Awolowo was worshipped by his followers. He didn't want Dakonde, but he said that was the will of the people. He didn't want Bola Ige as governor. I think he wanted Canon Alayode also. But the people in the old Oyo State or Western State, as it were, I can't remember, they said they didn't want him. And that is the mark of a great man. Do you understand what I'm saying? It is the mark of the great man. You cannot insist, I repeat, you cannot insist that it is your will that will take away all the time. You train these people to be Democrats. You've been training them for 20, 25 years. They must have a mind of their own. And like I said, other constitutions have now gone. The women are looking for emancipation. The indigents, whether you like it or not, there are indigents in every country. They've now, there's a resurgence of the indigents, and it has taken a wider dimension, which could have jolly well been avoided if he had allowed the status quo to remain. So I'm not going to be one of those who say maybe the president knows or not. Nobody should tell me. Even if he wasn't a member of the APC, even if it was Jonathan on that seat, he will get security reports. Because what we have on the ground now, we don't know where it's going to end. Yes, there could be some big plan. The biggest of plans sometimes fail. So I would like the president to step in, do the needful. The needful is let the will of the people prevail. If the House of Assembly don't want this gentleman, let him go home peacefully.
Yeah, let's move on to our next story this morning. Yes, this is coming in from the Vanguard newspaper. And by the way, before we move on, finally, almost similar situation is happening in Osun State.
Osun State. And
where the president's name is being thrown in.
Again, and because the governor said it categorically that this gentleman, Oyetola, was boasting that he was the president's nephew. He said it specifically, and he had a reason for stressing that. So the president needs to be very, very careful to maneuver through all this. He needs to be very, very careful, and he needs to be careful about who he's taking advice from. Okay, and we need to understand something about power. When they say somebody is powerful, you're powerful because you are depending on people. But deep within those people's minds, you don't know what's going on there. Babangida was very powerful when he annulled the election. At the last minute, he had to go, not because he wanted to go. The very people the rumor we heard is that the very people he relied on was the one who now told him, "Oga, it's time to go." So the president has to be very careful. Some things you think you have tied in or tied down, as the case may be, might just not be so. One can only speak in parables at a time like this.
Let's go to the story then in the Vanguard newspaper. Bini Kingdom goes tough on traditional abusers.
Yes, I also noticed, not that I knew in particular, but I've seen a surge of people dressing a bit like royalty. Okay, so the Oba has issued a warning that nobody should wear coral beads unless, of course, you are royalty. He talks about Ikele. He talks about the ceremonial sword, about all this. Okay, so you'd say to yourself, I can wear these things, but I'm not anywhere near where the Oba is. But this is the part that made me read this. My Bini friends, and those who, after doing a play or whatever it is, you begin to carry this paraphernalia around, listen to the consequence. His Royal Majesty Omonoba Edo Uku Apollo Ewuare 2 CFR Oboba Vini. Are you hearing, Teddy?
Yes, sir.
Has directed the chiefs, the priests and priestesses of various deities in Bini Kingdom to place a curse on those that would henceforth engage in this abominable, sacrilegious, and denigrating act of a very revered and cherished Bini customs and tradition as laid down by our ancestors. And I know this was what stopped prostitution of Bini women in Europe at one time. When the Oba lays a curse, what my history tells me is that it's usually effective. And that's why, otherwise I wouldn't read this story. It wouldn't be important. But I think I should let people know, those who like to wear, sometimes this paraphernalia, to know that some of these things, the sword and things that you carry, you better do. You look surprised. Oh, do you have, so no policeman is going to police you. It's a cause.
Okay.
But it doesn't talk about the consequences.
I mean, what will the cause? Who will the cause go and meet now? Those who are using it for
you are not
movies.
You are not supposed to put it on. I think
movies in call.
No, you will have to take permission. Whether you like it or not, you will have to take permission.
No.
We want
I don't know. I don't agree.
Test it.
I do not agree.
There's no problem. I agree. Tell me, but you can't.
Nollywood need these things for props. I mean, it's their job. Why
do you
know
do
that?
Do you know that the Adamo Orisha have been warning people who use whatever in plays and at parties and whatever, the food paraphernalia and so on and so forth. They'll be warning them that there are consequences for these things.
That one is
so
different.
One is different. What
though.
You do if you're going to act a play or whatever, a quick trip down to the Oba's palace to go with Oba Tokpa.
It's not that quick. It's about Bini we are talking about. It's not that quick.
Well, I've done my part.
Yes, you have.
I've done my part.
That's
why I this story is hidden. I had to go and fish it out. Because when they were talking about Bini goes tough, I said okay. But when I saw that they have directed the chiefs, priests, priestesses of the various deities,
it's serious.
It's a serious matter.
All right, we have another story coming up. Nigerians show approval of Tinubu's performance via defection to APC.
Politicians
Who is talking?
Who said this? Is the Minister of Information, Uche Naji. I said that the massive defection to the APC is a clear endorsement. It is not a clear endorsement, sir. People are hungry. They are going to gravitate. It's like sugar and ants. They are going to where food is. Those who have politicians who have cases in court and so on and so forth are also gravitating there. So don't mislead the public. It's not a show. Some people approve of Tinubu. Undoubtedly, there's no doubt about that. But they don't need to join the APC to do that. Most of the politicians that are moving to that party from the PDP and others, they're going in search of greener pastures. That's what it is. We have young people reading papers. Don't let's misguide them. Do you agree with him?
No.
So
I think it's just being political. What do you mean by that? It's true now. I can't even want to be provoking us.
Look, I just wanted to change the narrative. Can you believe that? So people like Ned Woko, all of them are going there because now.
Okay, we're going to take this one from Vanguard. Student loan, NEL fund closes 2023-2024 portal.
Unfortunately, the MD of NEL fund couldn't make it on Saturday due to circumstances, I think, relatively beyond his control. But he was able to, he addressed the press yesterday, and he said they've disbursed the total of, I don't want to be like the Edo State governor. How many zeros is this one now? This is about 22 billion to cover institution fees across 240 institutions, directly benefiting 215,000 plus students in 2023 and 2024 cycle. And it has closed the 2023-24 portal, understandably anyway, and the portal for 2024-25 is open. So if you're eligible, again, I urge you as a student, we'll soon find a way to bring the gentleman down here. But I urge you as a student, apply. Even if you don't get it, apply. Okay? And it's a loan, and emphasis, you will only start paying back when you are gainfully employed. That provision is there. Whether it will be enough or not, at least once your school fees are paid, you have one leg in the institution. Yeah. So I encourage all students and those who have just gotten admission to please apply for this loan. This, to be honest with you, this is one of the things that the Tinubu government will be remembered for. This particular one, and I have my eyes on it for all you young people. You must go to school if you will. Otherwise, you can go get other things done. But I think you should encourage them now.
Yes, I do. I particularly, I would rather even salute the president and his team for coming up with this amazing stuff.
Yes.
But a lot of people think that it's not true, but it's true. It's real.
But apply and know whether it's true or not. Don't just sit back.
Yeah,
you understand.
It's real. If it's not, if you don't have it yet, doesn't mean that it's false.
Sheriff, much as one is highly critical of this government, there are two things that stand out that they've been able to do. This one is one. Yes, you can criticize it. It will hopefully only get better. The other is the issue of passports. And the two are very critical.
That's right.
The two are very, very critical. I wish they would do the same thing in the area of health and education and stop faffing around saying that foreigners are now coming here. They want the real deal. We want good health facilities for our people here, not the ones that are coming. Here, those who are here, let's keep them healthy.
Right, indeed. We have to go. Yeah. But you're back at 9.
Yes, we are going to look at the issue of the visa.
Okay.
That was denied the Major General. And so I have an ex-soldier to come and look at that issue critically and what it means. And the issue of the gentleman who said they can go to hell.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, that should be fun. Lagos, that's our show. Thank you for being a part of it. Apologies for the music in the background. We're looking into it. Kofi is back on the Morning Crossfire. Good morning to you.
Channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's